Are you worried about the delay in the delivery of your remittances? Jamono Money Transfer is your only solution with more than 9 years experience in remittances services. It's accessible, reliable, affordable and convenient. Jamono Money Transfer is affiliated with Ajay Guaranteed Trust Bank Limited, Mega Bank, Apps, Reliance Bank and many others. You can send and receive your monies from friends and families both home and abroad through Jamono branches at various strategic locations in the country with high standard customer service. Please walk into any nearest Jamono branch for efficient and timely service delivery. For more information, you can visit its headquarters at Bursabi, right opposite Afrimed International Hospital, or call on the following numbers: +220 3103 050, +220 3103 051, or +220 3755 522.
Good day, viewers. You're watching us live on Caravan News Network with me, your host, A Touray. Well, you said part of your findings at the constituency, you've outlined some of the challenges. So, what are those challenges that you've outlined in your findings?
The challenges we came across, or I came across, was one with low voltage, because for Janjanbureh or the entire Central River region, we actually get our source of electricity from Basse, that is at the main depot. But again, with the supply voltage from Basse have been very, very low from the second week of April, that actually led NAWEC to bring in an alternative, that is a generator to actually power the engine. And this generator also have been actually running like 12 hours a day, because it runs for 12 hours and also have a cooling period of 12 hours. But again, the reason behind having that total scarcity was there was shortage of fuel from the main suppliers, that is at Basse Depot. And the reason why there were shortage of fuel at the depot was more of due to procurement issues, because with my findings from the head office, the response were yes, the procurement unit were not actually able to do their process on time and supply Basse Depot, that also actually supply Janjanbureh to actually do their work as expected.
Okay, thank you so much for answering that question. How has it affected the life and livelihood of the people since the shortage of the water started your constituency?
Water is basic. So, meaning with the shortage, it has actually caused a serious havoc to the community as well as to the business community. I can give you a few examples, because Janjanbureh, as much as it's a small community, it is also a host of some very, very important institutions. For example, you look at the boarding school, which is Amitechina Secondary School. They were seriously affected, because it's a boarding school, and without water, it means they cannot really do their basic hygiene needs within the school campus. Apart from Amitech, we also have a prison in Janjanbureh, and they don't really have, let's say, a reservoir that they can use in case NAWEC is not supplying water. So basically, the inmates within Janjanbureh prisons were really encountering serious challenges. We also have a health facility, and this is a major health center that actually deliver services even to neighboring communities around Janjanbureh, not just Janjanbureh. So the shortage of water was really affecting the health facility, together with the basic and the upper cycle within Janjanbureh. Also, Janjanbureh is known as a tourism destination, meaning it attracts a lot of guests as a host community. So during the shortage, you will realize that people who were working in the tourism industry were not also able to deliver services as expected. So this have also impacted negatively on those entities as well.
Okay, well, viewers, just to remind you, you're watching us live on Caravan News Network with me, your host, A Touray. Okay, Mr. Jammeh, Honorable Jammeh, as I would say. Okay, what alternatives do residents use when such happens, considering the fact that the place is an island?
Yeah, the alternate we resorted to were two options. One were more so with the community members. Some of us were more of relying on boreholes around our homes. But also with the schools, I would say they were using the river water as an alternative, which also involves some risk because in some of these schools or entities, you will realize that the people who are actually living in those places cannot really swim. So they've been exposed to the river also have some consequences. So basically, these were the two options the members of the community resorted to.
Okay, again, what are your interventions as National Assembly member to ensure some of the social challenges of your people are addressed?
Some of my interventions were first and foremost was actually to engage the authorities at NAWEC, because as we speak right now, in fact, I would say the problem is partially solved, not fully solved, because we still rely on a generator to give us like that 12 hours water supply. And within these 12 hours, it's just that the time they distribute in order to suit the needs of the general public. So as such, we really still doing our engagements to actually get NAWEC work on their voltage by increasing the voltage, the electricity power that can actually help to pump the tank at Janjanbureh and its surrounding. Apart from that as well, we also encouraging the management to actually employ someone to assist the current staff at the site, because we notice that it is only one staff that actually work at the site. Even though there will be low voltage, we thought that during off-peak, when people are not really using, let's say, electricity late at night, we think if there is a second staff, that person can actually help to pump water as required. So basically, these are some of the things we're really doing, and apart from that, we also engaging some of the local authorities and donors to help institutions like Hermitage, the prison, to actually get a borehole, because we cannot entirely rely on NAWEC knowing what they're doing is more of related to engineering. We thought it will be great to have borehole as an alternative in case NAWEC cannot really supply us on time or as expected. We can be using these boreholes as an alternative altogether.
Okay, we've also seen that reports have indicated that schools along Janjanbureh are facing challenges when it comes to this. As some of them, that is the morning shift will have proper learning, but coming to the afternoon shift, it will be very difficult for them to have their full sessions. So how do you think these people are going to do when it comes to their academic?
Yeah, it always have negative impacts, more especially on the children, because as I said earlier, you cannot go to school without water when actually you need some sanitizations around the school. So basically, if there is no water, meaning those that are going for the afternoon shift would still be challenged. But again, as I actually engaged the school authorities, more especially with Hermitage sometime last week, I actually advised them, or I actually gave this advice that it will be important for we to come together and see possible solutions to this problem, and one of which should be knocking at doors to ensure we have boreholes for these schools to serve as an alternative altogether, or otherwise it might still be a problem that could actually prolong, and this would actually continue to have that effect on our school-going children.
Okay, as the shortage of water is affecting their line, especially the afternoon shift, are there mechanisms to put in place in case if the water shortage is being remedied? Are there places that you're going to make sure that they are learning, that they flush the weeks during the water shortage is being remedied?
Yeah, with regards to that question, I would want to believe that it will still require some engagements with the school authorities, because purely it is education related, and we must actually get to discuss with the school authorities to actually create that environment wherein the lost hours are being able to be recovered by the school teachers. But again, it must really require for, genuine discussions in between parents and as well as the school authorities.
Okay, well, it is also reported that the residents of your constituency are fetching water from the river. Do you think the water that they are fetching from the river to serve them, is it hygienic to drink those water?
Hygiene-wise, I would say no. This may not really be hygiene for people to be using the river water for their daily use. But again, it's because we don't have an alternative. We must really use the river water in order to meet our water daily needs. But notwithstanding, I think, yes, this is something that needs some urgent moments to address, or otherwise I don't think we can actually continue to live in this situation where we have to rely on river water to either drink or to take bath or even to wash our clothes. I don't think is really the best thing that actually suits us as a community and as taxpayers.
Okay, viewers, you're watching us live on Caravan News Network. With me, your host, Mama A Touray, joined by Honorable National Assembly Member for Janjanbureh Constituency, Omar Jammeh. Okay, away from the water shortage at the constituency, we've also seen that today in the Gambia, people are affected by the daily living, that is the price of basic food commodities in different areas of the country. In different areas of the country, rising commodity price seem to be a challenge as a member of your constituency and as a man for the constituency. How would you describe this condition in your constituency?
Yes, the current situation, looking at the hike in our daily food commodities, is really a great concern. And as I would always tell people, looking at Janjanbureh as an island community, being surrounded by the River Gambia or by river waters, I don't really think we should be really crying today. If definitely government is committed to invest in agriculture. Looking at the landscape of Janjanbureh, we have enough rice fields to actually feed the people of the community and its surrounding. But again, we just have to face the realities. For example, for the past 3 or 4 years, we have not been growing rice, simply because government, through the Ministry of Agriculture, have been undergoing, let's say, maintenance or renovations in those fields. And it is still not completed, though near completion, but again, the farmers cannot really get what they want in order to continue on their traditional rice growing activities. As such, this is seriously a challenge, because if we were really cultivating rice today, we will not be crying as to the cost of rice in this country and other agricultural produces. So for me, basically, I would call it lack of priority in investing in our agricultural industry, in getting food being grown by people and also people having access to it, something that is very healthy. This is what is altogether lacking in our communities.
Okay, what step or mechanisms are you putting in place at your constituency?
Actually, I think as part of my oversight functions as a parliamentarian, I started the work, or we started the work, because I am also part of the Agricultural Standing Committee in the National Assembly, and I recall sometime a week or two ago, we called the Minister of Agriculture to actually come and answer a few questions with his team of technicians, more especially around fertilizer. So at my capacity as a parliamentarian, I want to believe that some of the things I can do is actually to engage the line ministry and also encourage them to do the rightful investments and also support people who are working in the agricultural industry.
And in your engagement with the line ministry, what was the outcome of the?
With the first engagement we had with him was strictly on the issue of the fertilizer, and we still await some answers from his end or from his ministry. So I wouldn't like to preempt that discussion because the discussion is really ongoing, and it wouldn't be fair for me to let the cart before the horse. So therefore, I would like to make some reservations until we come to completion on that subject matter.
Okay, as a National Assembly member for your constituency, what assurance could you give to your people regarding the ongoing challenges at your constituency?
I wouldn't say assurance, but to reassure my electorates, or if I'm to reassure my electorates, would definitely be to say, yes, we are all challenged and we all suffering, to be honest, because I cannot really exempt myself from the people of Janjanbureh as much as I am representing them. So I would definitely say this, that is to say, we're really working, or I'm really working tirelessly to engage the concerned institutions that could actually come in to support us in our challenges, and also to ensure that we're able to gain sustainable development in some of these areas. For example, agriculture, we think we really challenge with having our rice fields being revitalized and getting farmers to actually go back to the to what they love doing. And apart from the agricultural sector, the list follows. We think with the other challenges, more especially with the water challenge, I am working tirelessly to ensure that we have a sustainable solution to this. And to be honest with you, the management at NAVEC are really responsive to our call and also to our appeal. So therefore, I think we're really hopeful, or I'm really hopeful, that some of these things will be addressed either before the end of the year.
Okay, well, in one of your interviews as well, radio interviews, you made mention of you going to these authorities in disguise, not showing to them that you are a National Assembly member for the constituency. What prompted that?
Yeah, well, for me, the way I think is, not everywhere I have to really show my status, to be honest. The belief I really have is every ordinary Gambian should actually have access to public institutions. So anytime I am going to public institutions, I walk into these institutions as an ordinary Gambian. So as such, I don't think it really make any difference to actually introduce myself as an authority or as an parliamentarian. But again, I think it's just as normal as anything for I to go in as an ordinary person and also see how responsive are they to the general public.
And then your visit today, how was the visit? What was the outcome?
Yeah, my visit, I would say during the start it was not really pleasant, because when I went in, I was told that I should get into the security room to actually get a visitor's card in order to meet any of the authorities, which actually I complied upon. But upon my arrival, when I asked for the director, I was just told by the securities that the director was not in the office. And when I asked for his number, it was really challenging for me to get his number, because they were like, no, we cannot give you his number, we don't know who you are, and we don't just give out his numbers like that. And I challenged them to say, you know, I don't think that is really a fair response, because he's a public servant, and every Gambian should actually have an access to his official contact in case one want to reach out to him. And I sifted to say who is actually close to his office, who I can speak to, and they recommended that the deputy managing director is his immediate assistant. And when I asked to meet him, actually, they said I cannot really meet him without an appointment. So that was when I told them that, look, I think we are really a joke as a country if really to meet our deputy managing directors or our directors should be based on appointments without knowing the concerns we really have, then they're not really doing justice to Gambians. So that was when I actually introduced myself officially, and that was when they called the DMD and I was given access to meet him. And you know, our meeting was really fruitful when we met.
Okay, seeing the factors before you introduce yourself, as the MP for your constituency, you face a lot of difficulties down there to meet the MD there. So, how do you now feel that the commoners out there in the constituency will be able to get information to these public offices?
Yeah, well, this were one of the issues I in fact raised with the DMD. For example, in the Greater Banjul area, when NAWEC have issues, they go out there to the public to make announcements like public notices. But us in the rural communities, you realize that there are communication barriers in between us and some of these institutions because the communications have not been effective. We can only get an info when we actually move from our areas or from our comfort zones to go and meet them in their offices.
Okay, I'm afraid that is all what we have for you viewers in today's special interview with Omar Jammeh, the National Assembly member for Janjanbureh constituency. Janjanbureh constituency. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on our Facebook channel. I was your host, Mama A Touray, accompanied by Omar Jammeh, NAM for Janjanbureh constituency. Thank you so much for joining me.
Mama, and it's a pleasure having me here.
Thank you.